Thank you for joining us here on another beautiful night in the mystical land of Hyrule. We are coming to you as part of the Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer 2019 main tournament here on Speed Gaming. We have DevioXS versus SuperNinTaylor. Exciting matchup up ahead. 1-0 for DevioXS in the series. SuperNinTaylor fighting to stay in it. Hey everyone, I'm Cyclone, joined by Xander Robotnik. How you doing, Xander?
I'm doing good. Can't wait to see what's in store for us tonight. Where's the worst item going to be? Anything blocked way late in the game, or is everything going to be up early? Interesting feature we'll be seeing this time. SuperNinTaylor has opted to make this a 6 out of 6 crystal game, so we won't be getting all the crystals this time around.
And that is a very interesting twist that does put some extra logic into play. Let's say, for example, Eastern Palace is... this was an unusual example because the bow is needed for Ganon's Tower, but let's say Eastern Palace is a crystal, Palace of Darkness is a pendant, or vice versa. You could choose to skip that dungeon if you don't find the bow and just keep and decide to go look around Ganon's Tower to find that bow if you wish to. It could even be in Ganon's Tower. So it does introduce a new logical twist to it. One more thing to this. This is a lower bracket matchup in Group AE, and SuperNinTaylor's tournament life is on the line tonight, so he needs to win to proceed in the tournament. We're underway with a piece of heart in the sanctuary.
And one of my favorite things about Randomizer is the sprites you can choose to play. It looks like we got a Dragonite and a Dark Link today.
At first, I thought it was a different Pokemon, but yeah, I believe that is a Dragonite. I think it turns blue when you have the red male, the red shirt. So, and the bunny sprite actually is a Dratini. I love that one. So we are finding bombs on the tree pole. That is a very useful item to have on the tree pole. SuperNinTaylor dancing around the lumberjacks for... Looks like a bush crab was dropping some money he wanted to pick up, or at least he found some money anyway that he made an effort to pick up. What is in the lumberjack ledge today? Money. So that immediately rules out Aghanim for lumberjack ledge, but it does not mean that Aghanim is not required.
So, Cyclone, do you have any hopes or dreams for this seed? Anything you hope these runners have to do, don't have to do, anything like that?
I tend to be the one that asks that question. I usually don't have a preference myself, but since this is a 6-6, I'm just hoping that there is some item in Ganon's Tower that forces them to stay away from a dungeon they might otherwise have to clear as one of the required dungeons. So the 7th Crystal Dungeon has something, but they can't complete it because the item's in GT. I'd like to see something like that. What about you?
I'm actually really happy to see that they just found the powder in the Lost Woods there, just because Batcave is one of my favorite checks for whatever reason. So really, I'm just hoping something's good is there, and the fact that we got that item early makes it seem a little hopeful.
Well, that kind of came into play last night with a race I called last night. One of my favorite checks is Pyramid Fairy. We'll talk about that later because we have... Blind's Hut right now. We're going to have 5 items in here, 4 in front, 1 in the bomb area. There's a Power Glove. There is 20 rupees. There is a full heart container. So our second full heart container already. And that is the Book of Medora. That opens up access to Desert Palace, but it may or may not be completable yet, depending on what is on the torch. There's a piece of heart. Last night I called a race where Pyramid Fairy came into play. That's one of my favorite checks. And it's just nice when those checks like that actually come up to be something useful in a race, because it shows a really delineated logical process for that race. We are now in the well. Another bomb there. So we have enough bombs to clear Kakariko's items. There's some money. Devio taking some damage.
And these runners going to be happy that they're getting in early so they can go get the item from Bottle Vendor. Don't have to worry about coming back later. A nice bomb refill down in the well as well.
That was the 10 bomb item too. That's the one that you can get in standard mode when Uncle gives you a weapon to complete the castle. That can be one of those items he gives you. And It's the one that you're going to see most runners practicing if they play standard mode, because that's the one that you can actually run out of. That and I think magic in some modes. Ooh, we have a chicken clip right through the door. Unfortunately, it was just a piece of heart in that room, so we're going to move on to the tavern because we don't have any way to check on Sick Kid yet. I mean, we can, but we don't have a bottle. He won't give us anything. Oh! We have a hammer in the back of the tavern.
That gives us Dark World access, except for Moon Pearl. But they can get into the Dark World if they want, I guess. They're there, though.
That's right, they can explore as a bunny, but they can't get back to the light world, so once they go to the dark world, they stay there as a bunny. And what is on race game? Money. So Devio going to save and quit from there.
And SuperNinTaylor, interesting, they decided they wanted to do a little restock, heading to that shed in the bottom left corner of Kakariko Village, just getting some money, bombs, arrows, just magic, you know, stocking up just so they have it. Actually, it looks like they mainly wanted it for the magic because they want that early bat play. This is the earliest I've ever seen it, and I am so excited for that.
I have never seen Magic Bat this early. If this is an important item, this is a great play. And Devio obviously has access to this too, but perhaps didn't think of it because you don't see it this early. You never see Magic Bat curse someone 5 minutes in. What are we cursed with today? We are cursed with... Oh, we have to...
Let's go!
We have to carry this old red stick around, you know?
On the other side, in the Dam, Devio found themselves a fire rod as well, so both of them getting red sticks.
Now, I suspect Devio will come back to that Magic Bat sooner rather than later. It's just a matter of when he goes back to Kakariko. The red stick, the Cane of Samaria, as it's properly called, will not give us any help in the short term. There's only 3 dungeons where it really helps, plus to push a couple blocks in dungeons we normally don't have it by. If you want to just put a block on top of a switch and walk away, you can do that instead of pushing a statue around. But otherwise, he will come back to that later, and it'll be more important later anyway. So welcome to Mini Moldorm Cave. We call this Mini Moldorm Cave for somewhat obvious reasons here. And they're being a pain right now. Devio is kind of stuck in that little chamber there. Okay, that one is just being rude. That center Mini Moldorm was just being rude today. Holy cow, I've never seen one that bad.
Yeah, it's definitely no fun being in Mini Moldorm Cave with only a few potential weapons to go about clearing it out. The hammer's got a really strange hitbox to deal with, especially with those fast-moving Moldorms, and you only have a limited amount of bombs, so you don't want to waste too many of them.
That's a very rare victory for the Mini Moldorms. If you're dealing with bombs and you lose 2 bombs because you get hit as you try to throw the bomb, you're not going to use that bomb for anything.
So and Devio reading the items, heading over to Desert here because they have that access to it early.
And this is a good call. He's going to get Agina check out of the way. SuperNinTaylor, meanwhile, heading up to the castle, which you can just do any time. You can do that as soon as you have a weapon. He's going to go to the escape for the back of, I should say the uncle area first. I keep calling it escape. I'm going to go to the uncle area first. Whoa!
Who put those there?
Well, that's somewhat convenient. I guess the full access Desert Palace is just sitting out right next, like the key is right next to the dungeon.
And SuperNinTaylor stealing their uncle's mushroom. Was there on the floor about to pass out and is like, no, I'm taking this from you. I'm hungry. I want the mushroom, not you. I got a pizza to put it on.
Are we sure it wasn't a poisonous mushroom? If he's sitting there fainted, then maybe it killed him.
There wasn't a bite taken out of it, though.
Oh, good point. The SuperNinTaylor are going to do the main escape segment. Hammer is good enough for this. I mean, it's one of the weapons Uncle can give you, so why not? KS Mario also is a weapon Uncle can give you, so this is completable. And DevioXS is going to get the chest here. That is a map, so we know that the desert was boots locked. So yeah, the key was literally right next to the dungeon. And that was the big key. That means that the small key has to be in the chest, so we're going to have to go a little back and forth here if we're going to get to the right side and check the items. Now, maybe I take that back. Maybe the small key could be... No, I think by logic it has to be in the big chest. Yep. Because if you could have taken the key at the back and opened up the left side, or the right side chest and never gotten to Moldorm because you couldn't get through the door again. So that key had to be in the big chest by logic.
Holding a red potion, so that gives us sick kid access. Head back to Kakariko.
Oh, that's a Moon Pearl. We have full Dark World access.
Indeed, we do. Both of these players, or these, are like they're reading the seed. Like, hey, I got these items. I can do this check super early. And in both cases, SuperNinTaylor doing bat check early, Devio going to desert early. They're paying off ginormous.
Yep, just following the logic is... It doesn't work all the time, but very often just following the logic will lead you to the promised land, and that is what is happening here. The question will be, will Devios get back to Kakariko sooner rather than later? And again, this isn't a major one to get the King of Samaria, because that's an item for later game anyway, so it's more a question of will he forget about Batman by then. SuperNinTaylor will have to go over the desert area sooner or later to also take care of the Moon Pearl against the Dark World, but he will be falling into that again sooner rather than later because he has to have it to do the 7 Dungeons of the Dark World. So eventually he has to get to Desert Palace very soon. Devio is going to complete Desert Palace right now. It is a crystal. Why not? SuperNinTaylor did have some of the same issues in Mini Moldorm Cave with that central worm, but he does complete it. The door does open. In he goes. With these items, we have a blue shirt, some life, some money, a bottle, and a sword.
That sword would have been nice to have one room ago.
I agree. That's why they had it there. And torches are lit and a wall moves. You may now question Nintendo logic. And it looks like SuperNinTaylor are going to go over to Ice Rod Cave while Devio takes out 3 land molas. We don't have a lot of weaponry, so this is actually a little bit of a harder fight because of that. But he is going to use the hammer strats on these worms. That one goes down. Second one goes down. Misses the shot on the third one, so we're going to have to wait for that one again. Takes a hit. Ice Rod Cave has 20 rupees. And missed the shot again, but this time used the iframes and got the hit midair. So the worms are down. We have a boomerang. But more importantly, we have our first crystal. So for those joining late, this is a 6-6 seed. What we mean by that is we can actually go 1 less crystal, and we can go to Agnum's Tower and defeat Ganon as normal. That 7th crystal, that boss can keep it. We don't care.
SuperNinTaylor going a little out of logic here. Dark Room scaling up Death Mountain without a lamp.
Now, there are only a couple items up here we can actually pick up, 2 at this point. So this is a little bit of a sequence break. If there is an item up here, we have to remember this is out of logic. We already saw the back of Escape on SuperNinTaylor's side. I don't think there's anything useful here.
A little bit of defense, get a shield up, you know.
Mildly useful. We'll go with that. That was, I think that was a Bombos medallion.
That
On,
was
the old
indeed a
man.
bomb.
We should explain that medallion. There are 3 medallions on the tracker. You can see Bombos now lit up on SuperNinTaylor's screen. There are 2 others to the right. Those are Ether and Quake. One of those will open Misery Mire. One of those will open Turtle Rock. It may or may not be either of those. It may or may not be Bombos. It may be for both. It may be for neither. So whatever medallions we need will be part of the logic. The other ones are just going to be useless and can be anywhere in the game. And the exception would be Bombos, which may or may not be needed for Ice Palace if the Fire Rod were not available. But we do have the Fire Rod available, so oh well.
And Devio checking Bonk Rocks, finding themselves the red meringue, so they could dual wield boomerangs now if they so choose. Except I don't think it works like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't use both at the same time. It would be kind of cool if you could, though.
About to find a much more interesting red bent wooden stick as they head into Batcave here. At least I wouldn't. It might not be. I don't know.
Yeah, Devio is about to be cursed with the ability to make blocks. I mean, who wants to make blocks? Guard, excuse me. Ah, SuperNinTaylor doing the mushroom check.
Maybe they figured, hey, powder, nice super early. Maybe mushroom will follow suit. It's in the same inventory spot on the pause screen. Makes sense.
Well, he hasn't been to Desert Palace yet, so that we still don't know. 300 rupees, that will... It's not logic, but it will give us enough money to get the Zora item. He could go that way if he wanted to, but he's not going that way. He must be thinking of doing it as part of the Flippers chain, as usual.
And Devio, a little over the is our first runner to enter the Dark World.
Ooh, let's see. We have a green pendant at Thieves Town, blue pendant at Turtle Rock, and red crystal at Swamp Palace. So let's analyze this for a moment here. We have Tower of Hera and we said Swamp Palace. So yeah, Tower of Hera and Swamp Palace are the red crystals. There are a lot of items needed to clear Swamp Palace. That does put a little bit more of a limit on what could be at Pyramid Ferry, especially because the mirror is needed for both. So obviously the mirror can't be there. Though they could get around if they get the hook shot. So either way, the mirror is still needed. So it'll be interesting to see if Pyramid Ferry still comes into logic. Those red crystals may be less likely to come into play, but there are still a couple things that could be there.
And real quick, SuperNinTaylor, when they visited Saha, was it there, finding themselves a Master Sword. So a nice sword upgrade in hand.
Beautiful. I would not be surprised. Surprised it's Devio doing Skull Woods first, because the green pendant, knowing that we're going to have to go back for Palace of Darkness, the green pendant tells me there might be more value in getting Thieves Town out of the way. There are already 4 items in Thieves Town. A 5th one is attached to the green pendant. So the fact that we can get that as we go to Palace of Darkness gives a little more value to me for doing the Thieves Town check right now. I'm going to assume that was a planned Death Warp.
I'll buy it. And SuperNinTaylor fighting the 3rd bottle, 2nd one with a fairy in it. This seed does not want you to die.
Yeah, Death Warping is going to be hard for SuperNinTaylor right now, to say the least. I wonder if Devio was setting up another Death Warp here. It seems kind of strange to set up while going outside, because he can die out here and he's out of Skull Woods. He has to play very carefully here. I think he used the hook shot to stun that jumping jellyfish.
I don't think we have a hook shot yet, do we?
Boomerang, I said.
Oh, I don't know why I heard hookshot. But I just realized Devio doesn't have any swords at all. The first one was a mini Moldorm, which Devio died in.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely a little awkward. They have the hammer, so they still have an unlimited weapon source. It's just an awkward hitbox unlimited weapon source.
He's not finding a lot of useful items in Skull Woods either.
Though with full means to clear it, and it being a crystal, at least they're getting that out of it, should they choose the full clear.
Apparently, chat is telling me I did say hook shot. I thought I said boomerang. My apologies. I did mean boomerang.
They both have the double O in it. They're basically the same word.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
Oh, my bad. No sword. Devio can't finish Skullwoods. That one little piece of grass along the back wall is the only thing holding Devio back.
It's interesting that he's checking this chest while he's here. It is a compass, so it's nothing useful. I wasn't counting the items. I think I only saw one item. And that's a compass in the big chest of Eastern Palace, and SuperNinTaylor is out of there. Devio heading back to the village. I assume he's going to the Dark World, and since we just saw Skull Woods, I think he is planning to go straight to Village of Outcasts from here.
With how much SuperNinTaylor was walking left there, I was a little afraid they might have forgotten that they haven't checked Dam yet, but about to be rewarded with a nice fire.
Yep, Fire Rod, that's right.
Now realizing they have full Desert Palace, barring getting Pegasus boots, which they'll get shortly, assuming they check Agina's cave. I'm guessing they'll probably want to head that. They'll probably be heading that way pretty.
Some runners will actually check Agina after going to Desert Palace. This would actually be a bad mistake in this case, because as soon as you leave, you get the boots, you're going right back in. So let's see how SuperNinTaylor decides to play. Yep, Devio is going to Thieves' Town. So again, 4 items in here, 1 attached to the green pendant when we get back to the Eastern Palace area later. So Eastern Palace, while it is a pendant, we can still go to Sahasrara and find out what the item is on the way to the Palace of Darkness.
And it is SuperNinTaylor opting to go into desert before his cave.
Ooh. I think that is a French Vanilla Titan's myth. That is usually in the big chest here. And SuperNinTaylor, by the way, did not check Agina. It's being pointed out in chat as well that he did not check Agina. That means he's going to find the map. He's going to realize he can't do anything. And he stops the door, realizes, I might have missed something, and starts heading in the direction of the exit.
I was afraid we were about it, but no, they remember. They're heading down. They want to go through the locked door.
Nope, I guess he thought he could go in the locked door without a key. Sorry, SuperNinTaylor, you have to pick up the key. That's how doors work.
At the very least, they can take this bottom right exit, which spits them out.
Yep.
Right over here. Nice and convenient.
And continue. We're going to get hammer pegs, by the way, from Devio. So SuperNinTaylor going to go visit the old man Agina. He's going to open the chest. He's probably going to leave a bomb on it as a thank you. And head back inside. Devio is heading over to the digging game now. As SuperNinTaylor, it was such a nice tune that he played with the Book of Medora that you might as well do it again, right?
Indeed. Why not pray to the goddesses of Hyrule one more time?
Yep, it's good to get your prayer in. Devio finds bombs on dig number 9, but keeps digging. I think he's trying to fill up his magic meter and decide he has enough. Now you get that big key.
And on Devio's side, looks like we got a Frog World Tour here. No mirrors, so gonna at the end in order to turn him in to check to see what the Smiths have today.
He's gonna get what he can in the meantime, which is a piece of heart there for Stuppy. Myths for the question being asked in chat were in Thieves Town. French Vanilla, they were not in the big chest, they were in the front four.
And SuperNinTaylor at the 25-minute mark has Dark World access, finding that Moon Pearl and Desert.
Devio, meanwhile, visiting our Cave of Disappointment. Let's see what's in the Cave of Disappointment today. Some flippers. That's a pretty bad start to the Cave of Disappointment. So we have 20 rupees. We have 20 rupees. Some bombs. And a single rupee. So the rest of the chest came through. I'll give it a 2 out of 10 because, you know, those flippers, they're just way too useful.
Well, I mean, it's the back cave that's the Cave of Disappointment. That front room where that dude's hanging, that could be something, you know.
You see, there's the answer in chat. Flippers are super annoying. I agree. They're just way too useful. The SuperNinTaylor, now knowing that Desert Palace is clearable, is going to clear it. Devio is heading back. Nope, I thought he was going to the Dark World, but he wants to take the Dwarf home. That'd be a good idea. So it's kind of funny that after taking the Dwarf home, we still have to give him 10 rupees in order to get what they are working on, which is really normally a tempered sword. But in this game, it seems like, come on, you're charging us for the privilege of taking you home. Yeah, we paid 10 rupees and got 5 rupees. There you go.
50% off. What's the big deal?
Clearly, they're stockbrokers. They didn't have a good deal for us. So Devio back to the Dark World and is going to continue south back to Village of Outcasts. He seems to be running through the village right now. SuperNinTaylor picking up his first crystal of the race tonight. Devio is getting the purple chest. Now, will he save and quit? He has to get to the Light World to return it. So, yep, save and quit.
And you gotta wonder, when is Devio gonna make their way back to Mini Moldorm Cave to get a sword upgrade and that was where the other sword was, and with the Dark World axe,
just to get a sword at this point. Just to get a sword at this point.
Though it's very possible that, you know, we find the other 2 swords elsewhere and Devio never goes to get those first 2. Be crazy, but it could happen.
Well, let's see what Gary has for lunch today. That's I guess he digs up mushrooms for lunch? I don't know.
Doing it, getting the revenge on a Mini Moldorm Cave here.
Round 2, fight!
Making use of their ability, their getting the Batman red cane there.
Getting his special revenge on that middle one before using the bombs as normally planned. Is going to get his sword finally at 29 minutes, and there it is. So the question now is, and I know it's still a little early, but knowing that he took the death here and his opponent probably got this sword 20 minutes ago, which is pretty much what happened, would you feel behind if you were Devio right now?
That's a tough. In that, like, I would say the one thing that might be bothering Devio is Skull Woods without the sword, because everything else they were able to accomplish with the hammer and the other weapons they had. And SuperNinTaylor confirming for us the ped is dead. Just couch cash. Move along.
So get your pedestal sadness in chat, ladies and gentlemen, as we aren't going to get to enjoy it today. Looks like Devio is going to set up a fake flippers here. Now, he's going to do this spot, or is he doing a water walk? You know what? Never mind what I was going to say about fake flippers. He's doing a water walk, which I actually don't know as much about.
I just know it looks faster. And there's
looks
groupies on the island there, too.
It looks a lot faster. He's going to have to do a fake flipper leaving the hobo, though, and that's going to be done by falling in the water as he transitions off the screen. Same idea as the normal fake flipper when in the overworld, except this one, the screen disappears as you hit the edge of it, and the game assumes you're in the water. That is a mirror. Now, we have to remember this is out... Actually, no, he has the flippers. He does have the flippers, so he is okay with doing the... with doing that stuff. Now, we don't have the hook shot to get to the back of Swamp Palace yet, but other than that, it is calling. Oh, SuperNinTaylor is given a hand by the enemies, and he doesn't get to see that last chest. And Waterfall Cave had some red goo, a bottle of red goo. We're going to get to see what is on the Zora ledge in just a moment, as that is our next stop.
But without the money, can't get the item from Zora.
Which means we're not going to know what it is either, and that is some bombs.
But yeah, chat pointing out for us, we have found all 4 bottles in this world here. 2 had fairies, 2 had red potions. So much life in these bottles.
Clearly, this seed wants you to be healthy. I mean, you have 8 hearts. You get these bottles for medicine. The seed wants you to finish it.
So looking at the items we have at this point, what dungeon do you think these runners are hoping they're going to get to skip, given that this is a 6/6 crystals?
Which dungeon they would probably want to skip? In terms of in general, I think Turtle... Actually, no, not Turtle Rocks, that's dependent. I would say Misery Mire might be one they would love to skip, because we don't have the bow or the silver arrows to make Vitreous super fast yet. At the same time, that could be done very quickly compared to other dungeons. Like Palace of Darkness, you have to hunt down multiple keys. So that could be another potential option for skipping. It's going to be interesting to see what items we eventually end up with to get 6 dungeons complete. And then it will also then determine what we need for Ganon's Tower to determine whether that is actually a good layout for going through things. Since we do need the bow for Ganon's Tower, I can see Palace of Darkness and Misery Mire being dungeons that they may want to keep just for that reason.
And SuperNinTaylor heads out of Skull Woods as Devio heads in.
Just like a high five, and SuperNinTaylor heading right back in. So yeah, Devio is back in Skull Woods, and you know what? We have a sword now, so let's just go take out a bug.
Just the fighter sword, though, definitely going to make this fight interesting.
I'll use the fire rod, or he will use the fire rod.
Like 1 or 2 shots.
Yeah, not much. He's gonna have to pick up the magic. Nope, didn't pick up the other one. So has a little magic for, like you said, 1 or 2 shots. He got lots of potions, so he should be okay for survival. Ah, ye old hammer strats.
Juke is a pro.
That bug is trying to stay high to get away from the sword shots, because it can be invincible along the spikes, but we do have it down. That produces the 10 arrows for him, which we've already seen on SuperNinTaylor's side, and that is 2 crystals for both of our runners now. Now, this could be seen a little bit as a time loss, because Devio did have to come back here on his second trip. This was a double dip for him. So this could be some time lost in the race as a result.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what each runner has. At this point, SuperNinTaylor has an Eastern Palace dip on Devio, whereas Devio has dipped Thieves Town, and SuperNinTaylor has not.
That's right. And Thieves Town, of course, was important with the Titans bit today. That'll give us access to the GT area. Not to mention 2 of our crystal dungeons, so one of them has to be completed too.
Whereas the Eastern area's best item was a sword upgrade, which is definitely nifty to have, but depending on where other swords are, may not be necessary.
But having that early sword can make the difference, regardless of which ones you pick up in the end. SuperNinTaylor touring the Village of Outcasts, going to open up the brewery. Nothing on tap here today, just a piece of heart. And SuperNinTaylor doing a map check, already having Skull Woods out of there, hence why it's not blinking anything. Notices the green pendant on Thieves Town and heads in. Probably was going in anyway. Devio's getting his Bombos medallion. That's his first coin.
Oh, and Devio has that mirror too that SuperNinTaylor doesn't have yet. So is this a Hera play we're seeing, do you think?
I think it is a Hera play. I don't think he's been up Death Mountain at all yet, because this is the Check Spectacle Rock. Just some money in there. We don't want that. I didn't see what was on Spectacle Rock. We're going to see it now. It was a shield.
Technically out of logic here, either a lamp or a flute, though, because they had to climb through a pitch black Death Mountain.
Correct. And if we find either of those items up here on Death Mountain, we know which one has to be in the lower continent somewhere. This will give you 10 shots with your bow. Pray for 10 shots with your bow, young adventurer. And SuperNinTaylor is done with Thieves Town, for now anyway. So the big key was located in the chest on the main floor, the entrance floor. Devio not using the clip strategy, so we won't worry about that, at least for now. But there is a clip you can do on the second floor to get to the 6th floor very, very quickly in this tower, in this dungeon. So the chest on 4th floor is a map. We're going to probably bomb jump because you don't have the hook shot. So we're going to bomb jump across. And lining it up, and there it is. Beautifully done. That's our small key. That means that the coffee break is now in play.
SuperNinTaylor shows us what a sword with your hammer going through those pegs.
He picks up his extra life, and that's 10 hearts for him compared to the 8 for Devio, who is now fighting Moldorm, everyone's favorite pet worm. Using the hammer, and that should keep it from getting enraged, because 3 shots is enough to kill it. We never get to the enraged phase. And that is a set of bombs.
And with that, halfway to Ganon's tower access.
Yep, halfway. So we still need some interesting items here in order to continue. We won't be able to claim go mode until the bow is at least found, because the bow has to be used to get through Ganon's tower anyway. So we are still far from go mode at this point. Swamp Palace cannot be cleared yet. Palace of Darkness cannot be cleared yet. Ice Palace still is accessible, and I think can be cleared. I believe it can be cleared. Misery Mire would be a difficult Vitreous fight, but I think it could also be cleared if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, we don't have the lamp. We don't have the lamp. Not by logic.
And real quick, well, there's a bow, but there was a Quake medallion on the island that you have to go through the hookshot cave to get to.
That Quake could be important for Misery Mire. We don't know yet. And actually, yeah, Misery Mire, we don't know what the medallion is yet, so we don't know if it can be cleared yet. If it's Bombos, then yeah, we can go in. But we don't have the lamp by logic. But at least the bow makes Palace of Darkness palatable now. And the runners may opt with that bow to just go straight there, because the lamp has not been showing up anywhere so far. The Refined Paradox Cave, and so far the items are not really worth writing home about. Or not writing home about. You take your pick.
Paradox Cave giving us a nice stash of items here. What's going to be in these 5 chests? What do we got? We got ourselves some bombs, some money,
Ew.
some love,
Ew.
and some bombs.
Ew.
What a
horrible
stash. What a stash.
You know what? I might call this the Cave of Disappointment now.
I saw SuperNinTaylor jump in the water, thought they're about to head to Hobo, but they're skipping out for now on Hobo, who has the mirror. Up here to the Zora area, we may get holds.
We should point out what Devio was just doing as well with the blocks disappearing in front of him. The way that works is when you're not in a dungeon, which the mirror would put you back at the start of the dungeon, so you can't use it there. You can actually push the block, and as the block is moving, you hit the button, which is why you're hearing the noise. You can actually cause the block to disappear by pushing the button to activate the mirror while the block is moving. That way you can just walk right through as if the block was never there.
I think it's because the blocks are all vampires and they don't show up in the mirror, so they just...
So you're saying that the mirror is made of garlic.
No, I mean, vampires don't have a reflection, so when you hold the mirror up to them, you don't see anything, and then logic becomes reality and it disappears.
Nah.
Just don't think about it.
So, Hookshot Cave, we get to open the first chest, $20. Devio surely had to have seen the Quake and is heading back to the back of Hookshot Cave, is going to make his way to the Lonely Island and get his second coin. This will give a 67% chance of getting into Misery Mire, and also Turtle Rock, just in case we need to go there for something. So let's reanalyze here. We still can't complete Swamp Palace because we don't have the hook shot, which technically is also needed for completing the seed. And if these runners are not capable of hovering, it is 100% needed to complete the seed. So we can't consider that as doable at this point. However, Ice Palace, we said before, and I believe is doable. Misery Mire, if you can do Dark Rooms, is doable. And Palace of Darkness is also doable. I have a feeling Devios will be looking for the lamp, but at that point, that would, I think, be enough to put him in go mode. And maybe the hook shot.
I believe, depending on key layout, Ice Palace may be logically hookshot locked, though there is a bomb jump you can do to avoid that requirement.
Correct. We're going to find Ice Palace right now in the meantime. SuperNinTaylor is in there. It's so nice not having to do Turtle Rock, at least not yet anyway, because the Ice Rod, in that sense, can just stay wherever it is.
Yeah, and in my recent experience, I've been seeing the Ice Rod within Turtle Rock, so if stay in there, and I never want to see it.
Oh, we saw it in the Fire Rod Mimic Cave the other day. Devio getting his Master Sword. And Devio is about to have his pockets picked by everyone's favorite monkey, Kiki the monkey. Everyone's favorite contortionist is going to basically take $100 out of our pockets if we want to go into this dungeon. And supposedly we have no way to push this button without her. So thank you, Kiki. And it looks like this key is going to send us up the... Oh, Devio is leaving. Well, that's interesting.
SuperNinTaylor finding important item in the game, the bug net over here in Ice Palace. Now we can go catch some fairies, some bees, you know, stash up our bottles.
I'm curious why Devios decided to do Eastern Palace first. Maybe he's not feeling comfortable about the dark rooms and what?
Devio's just keeping us on our toes. What's wrong?
Yeah, this is the strangest rodeo you've ever seen in this area.
It looks like they're playing a game of every time I mirror, I have to change worlds. SuperNinTaylor making their way to Cold Stare. Unfortunately, I've not been well in the dungeon. Not sure if they're leaving anything behind, or if there's only one thing left. Maybe it's on Cold Stare. Hopefully, chat can keep us honest here, because yeah, I missed it.
Apparently 3 items have been found according to chat, so from what I can tell, I don't think we have anything super handy there.
I mentioned it, the bug net. That's like the best thing.
Like I said, as far as I can tell, we haven't had anything super handy there. I mean, we haven't had to fight Ganon yet, so oh wow, we have 4 keys already in Palace of Darkness. And I think there's got to be a 5th one down here. Nope, not that one. So the other chest, I believe, has to be a key.
SuperNinTaylor, seeing they're just completely locked in without a mirror, saves and quits.
Oh! Well, I'm wrong. That was half magic. So half magic is one of those nice to have. It's not something you have to get, but it is nice to have it. It's the thing that Magic Bat will normally curse you with trying to take away your magic. He just doubles your magic instead. Devio not trying the hammer yump, so I'm not sure if Devio knows the hammer yump, but either way, gonna go check this side of Palace of Darkness first. This is in the dark. We may or may not get to see what these items are. Well, we have Fire Rod, so yeah, let's see what these items are. He also wants the money because he thinks he still has to check his aura, and he didn't get that row, unfortunately.
And my understanding with some of the later updates with the fire rod, because there's torches in here, this is in logic. Any dark room with torches in it are considered in logic.
That's correct. That's something I was just learning recently too. I thought the lamp was still required, but because the fire rod is there and you know where the torches are, it's all fair game. So SuperNinTaylor is dragging a purple chest behind him. Devio is going for the hammer yump. Very nicely done. And I think there's no torches in here, right?
To my knowledge, no. I believe this would be still considered out of logic right now.
So in other words, he's not supposed to have those bombs that he never actually picked up. The enemies are being very unkind with the fire in that spot. Devio seems to be having a little bit of difficulty with this dark room. There it is. Found some bombs in that one. So yeah, all bombs over here. That was pointless.
Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor opting to share their catfish here.
I mean, catfish can use some lunch too, right? Here, catfish. Have a sandwich. Wow. You just get some bombs for a sandwich. Not a fair trade. So we have another wall moving in Palace of Darkness right now, and you may once again commence questioning Nintendo logic at this time. So SuperNinTaylor is finally going to finish his travels with the purple lunch of glory and get his shovel. Will he dig it? Devio is going to attempt to finish Palace of Darkness on the first run. These turtle rooms down here in the dark can be very, very difficult. There is a torch somewhere along here that you can light as well. But these turtle rooms are very, very difficult in the dark if you can't find the light, which he found the light. And that's going to make it easier for him. Because now you can see the turtles. And he's just walking through those turtles, even though they just didn't see him in the dark, I guess. But now it's time to fight Palmasar King. We have a masked creature trying to hide his beautiful face, and I never understood why he was so shy.
Yeah, I don't know either. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor making their way to home. Their mirror. Maybe they'll make use of it in the near future, make their way to Tower of Terror.
Now, this could be one of those things. I asked this question about Devio earlier, whether he might feel behind. Now this could be the case where the opposite is true. SuperNinTaylor might be thinking, I could have had this early, and I should have been able to get this a lot earlier and make plans with this a lot earlier. So he might be thinking that he could be behind now. So Devio has completed his 4th crystal, I believe that was.
Correct.
Yes.
I think SuperNinTaylor might head up to Hera and get their 4th as well. And it's not even the same 4, which is really interesting.
It is very interesting. Yeah, 2 of them are the same. Hera would be the 3rd same crystal. The one that is different is Palace of Darkness and Ice Palace right now. Which means that's 5 dungeons that can be completed. We only have 1 more that has to be completable. As long as we can get a Misery Mire, that could be it.
What it would be Hookshot to do Swamp, or Flute, and potentially, if the answer is Ether. So it's 1 to 1 or 2 items.
That's right. SuperNinTaylor are going to pray for 10 shots with the bow, and he will get them. And SuperNinTaylor is going to see the compass turn right around and walk back out. He'll get his big key from the upper chest, and he will not be able or probably even wanting to do the coffee break yet. So he's just going to try to head upstairs. He is going to spin speed off of the stairs. That is just being a little flashy now.
So both runners in their 4th crystal dungeons, SuperNinTaylor in the much shorter one probably will gain their 4th first. You know, it's possible that we might have to dip T-Rock to find that last item.
It is possible. The hook shot into a rock could be one of those possibilities that's called out. And since by logic you have to complete Ganon's tower, it could be anywhere in logic that is obviously not in Swamp Palace. Or at least not in the back of Swamp Palace.
My bad, I can't count. Devio's in their 5th crystal right now. So a Palace of Darkness behind, crystal count-wise at least.
Yeah, this is the 5th one for Devio, that's right.
Numbers are hard.
SuperNinTaylor, meanwhile, is going to be getting his 4th one.
And with getting mirror late, just an observation based on points I'm seeing in chat, we have a couple of orphaned mirror checks, a Graveyard Ledge and a Cave 45 that I don't think either runner has dipped in at this point, just because they'd already done a lot of the loops that usually those checks get routed in.
There's one more that goes with the Misery Mire check as well. Checkerboard Cave can be checked in at the same time with mirror checks. So with that mirror, I imagine the next place they should go is most likely to that very dungeon, to Misery Mire, and see if they can get in. Because if they can get in, they can at least get the 6th crystal. That way, even if they
haven't found Flute yet, though, you gotta keep that in mind.
Sorry?
We don't have Flute yet.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we need the flute. Didn't even consider that. Good call. So yeah, flute or hookshot will be needed to give us the 6th dungeon cleared. Hookshot would be more ideal because that also would put us effectively into go mode. SuperNinTaylor doing the coffee break. I don't think we saw this on Devio's side. So we're going to... So this could be new information. This could actually be one of our missing items. It is a heart container. That is one of our missing items, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have that heart before.
SuperNinTaylor now has it that Devio doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's his 13th heart. He didn't have 13 hearts before. It was a missing item. Speaking of missing hearts, Devio getting his 10th heart.
They're on row 2. That's 11 hearts, right?
Oh, wait, that was 11 hearts. Sorry, I didn't even see that heart.
No problem. As I said, numbers are hard.
Numbers are easy. You just have to actually pay attention to them once in a while. SuperNinTaylor opening up Turtle Rock. We might get to see what is in Turtle Rock. We don't have to complete it. We can't complete it yet. But he did open it up. It was available. It was the Quake Medallion.
But Quake is one screen over on the floating island.
So SuperNinTaylor... Oh, I thought he opened it. Maybe he didn't open it.
He doesn't have the Quake 2 open, and he hasn't gone through the cave yet. It's right next door. It's right there.
I thought I saw him opening it. I completely was blind to that, so to speak. But that's the second time so far in this seed that the key has been on the doorstep. We had the boots sitting in Agina's cave. It was like Agina was saying, "You want to complete this, take out this monster for me. Here are the boots to help you." And now we want to get into Turtle Rock. Here is the Quake Medallion. Just go next door. Are we going to get a hover? We're going to get a hover.
Here we go.
One down. That's the ice rod!
But you have to think, in order to be here to get those items, you need hookshot. And if we have hookshot, we can do everything else anyway. We can beat, like, mode. Well, SuperNinTaylor doesn't know that because they don't have bow. But besides that, like, there's nothing that can be useful here, at least to our knowledge.
Well, I'm just trying to think. The fact that ice rod is here does not mean that the hookshot cannot be in Turtle Rock. It means it's not on Trinex, obviously, so we don't have to defeat Trinex to find our hookshot. But the flu could still be on Trinex to give us access to Misery Mire. The question is, where is that hookshot? That's more likely the item we're going to want to find at this point, especially knowing what we know, that the ice rod is here in Hookshot Cave. That was almost the hookshot. That was instead the Arrow of Destiny.
And gonna grab that Quake, Quake through the back here. Now the question is, are they gonna take it and immediately go into Turtle Rock? Because they still have a pod they can. They're right here next to Turtle Rock, so it's like it's a gamble. But maybe with some of the plays they've made, they might be thinking they need to make this gamble.
SuperNinTaylor did put in the effort to get the Quake Medallion. I think he's going back to Turtle Rock. I honestly think he is. Maybe not. He's mirroring back to the Light World.
I got some quick overworld checks here, which are very important ones. I'm pretty sure this is where we found Bo. Now, meanwhile, Devio, new information. This is Graveyard Ledge.
You are right, by the way. This is where the bow was.
Graveyard Ledge not paying out today. Just 10 arrows.
Just 10 shots with the bow. Oh, King's Tomb. I think this is new information, so we're going to see what is in here. Money. We know Paradise Cave was complete torture. SuperNinTaylor is going to find nothing of use here. Devio is going to take a dip. And might be heading over to... No, I don't think he's done the mushroom yet. He doesn't have the mushroom. No, he can't do the mushroom.
Yeah, he hasn't visited his uncle, who is slowly passing out down in...
Well, the good news is that the mushroom doesn't lead to anything important. I think it was a piece of heart or something like that. So he's not going to miss anything by not checking the mushroom. But now that he's walking by here, you have to wonder if that's on his mind.
Quite possibly, but what's definitely on their mind is Zora, because we saw they were just farming up money there just to hit that 500 count.
Exactly. He has exactly enough now to pay the good king, and he as soon as he goes up to King Zora, it's going to be the equivalent of hitting the bankrupt space on Wheel of Fortune. You're going to hear that noise of all the money going over.
So yeah, SuperNinTaylor heading here. My guess is they're probably going to feel confident enough with their dark rooms that they're going to full clear it. Most runners in this tournament tend to be. I am a wimp when it comes to dark rooms, so it's really awesome to see them pull them off.
I mean, I'll do Eastern Palace, I'll do the Climb Up Death Mountain, but I'm not a good player myself. Some of them I don't know very well, and I want a lamp when I do. Devio returning to the old man on the mountain.
And we still haven't found Flute or Lantern, which we need at least one of them for Death Mountain access. I feel like one of those two, just due to the sheer fact that we need one of them to logically be up here, one of them has to show up soon. I'm wondering if it's like in the back of Thieves Town maybe, or something. I don't know, but I'm just amazed we haven't found either one yet.
If we did indeed, I heard noise. If we did indeed find Eastern Palace, all three items there, then that leaves two places that it can be. There's only two places that we can find that, unless it's on the Overworld. Those two places are one of the 6 items in Swamp Palace, or it is in Thieves Town, potentially as a Hasarala item on the Green Pendant. If that is the flute on Sahasrarla, for example, that is going to be something that both runners are going to regret leaving Thieves Town early to pass up. Because 4 items in Thieves Town, and that Green Pendant is a 5th. It's a good item density. You take that and you do the Sahasrarla check on the way to the Palace of Darkness area.
Is this a T-Rock play?
This is a T-Rock play. We're not going to find Death Mountain progression here, but we could find one of the 2 items because you only need to find one of them off Death Mountain. The other one can be up here.
Right, so Devio probably hoping, that Lamp was elsewhere so that this can be Flute?
That may be what the play is right now. He may be hoping that the Lamp was what you need to get up here.
Or just they find Hookshot and say, to heck with both Lamp and Flute,
Well, given we had a very early glove, it leads credence to the fact that the Lamp could have been our access up here, but Rando will be Rando. It can do weird things. Oh, look at that KSMaria push from SuperNinTaylor. That was actually kind of funny. Oh, and in the pit he goes. That's going to force him to reset the room. So first chest is the key, and down the rabbit hole we go. Actually, we can do the right side, so not really the rabbit hole this time around. SuperNinTaylor failing on the bridge. He's going to have to exit and regenerate the room. The bridge just magically reappears.
Devio Hookshotless taking the long way around here. It's a little painful, but, I mean, if you can do it, might as well.
It's more important that you get the items than how long it takes in this case. SuperNinTaylor finding the money room down there in Palace of Darkness. And yes, DevioXS is at 0000 on the rupees. And that is the hook shot. I think we can declare it. At 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 25 seconds, DevioXS is in go mode.
I am at a loss for words.
That turned out to be a great play.
But who wants to dip a pendant turtle rock to find a hook shot? Brutal.
Xander, you are forgetting the first rule of Rando. The first rule of Rando is if Turtle Rock is a pendant, there is something inside.
I feel like in my experience, rule number 2 is if Turtle Rock is a crystal, Ice Rod is inside.
And then 2A only if you find the fire rod missing, and then the ice rod may not be. Anyway, enough about the complex rules of Rando. DevioXS doing the only thing he needs to do at this point, which is opening Swamp Palace.
Yeah, so a quick reminder here. This is a 6/6 seed, meaning they only need 6 crystals to get into Ganon's tower. They only need 6 crystals to defeat Ganon. So saying adios to the Misery Mire area. Say, who needs a flute? I got my 6. I'm out of here.
Yep, that duck is staying stuck today on the Scarecrow. We are not going to be freeing it. But don't worry, it'll free itself later. It always finds a way.
I mean, we got to get out of the top of Ganon's tower somehow.
Yeah. So DevioXS rather getting the first key. You can't accidentally flood this one, unlike one later which we will not discuss. But we're not going to see that key anyway, so we're not going to worry about that.
And at this point, you gotta wonder, at what point is SuperNinTaylor gonna suck it up and dip T-Rock? Or opt to full clear Eastern or Thieves Town first or something? I don't know.
He could find the flute and do Misery Mire instead. We don't know that. That's the part that we don't know. But I think at this point, DevioXS is in the quicker of the dungeons. Go moding Swamp Palace takes a lot less time than digging out all the items in Swamp Palace. So a question in chat saying he thought this was lower bracket. You are correct. The person saying that this is the lower bracket matchup. Just to clarify, this is the lower bracket of Group AE. SuperNinTaylor is on tournament life right now. If he loses this match, he is out of the tournament. DevioXS will move on to face either Tato or Scary Olive. Scary Olive leading that series 1-0 at this time, according to our bracket.
SuperNinTaylor nabbing, so clearing out pop. Very interesting to see what they do next.
Yeah, I'll be very curious. I think it might be too late at this point. Like, SuperNinTaylor is a very good, very established runner. I've seen him race many times. And sometimes you just have those situations that that beat you, and that's really what it comes down to. He didn't make the play to Turtle Rock, and that's what's going to end up costing him the race here. He could have gone into Turtle Rock to grab that Quake Medallion, and he would have been good with the hook shot, but sometimes that's just what happens, and we'll see what he decides to do. He still has a little bit of time before we have the race decided here. And this could still, something could still go wrong in Agnum's Tower, something could still go wrong in the Ganon fight, so SuperNinTaylor could still bring it back as well. But at this point, we have 6 dungeons complete. That is all we need today. Misery Mire, you can keep your crystal. It is time for the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. Get your guesses in chat, ladies and gentlemen, in our live Twitch chat, where you think that big key is in Ganon's Tower. Any number from 1 to 22. No zero, no negative numbers, no numbers above 22, and no decibels, please. Xander, where do you think it is today?
My favorite check is the Bonk Torch. It's usually the 3rd place check, so I'll say 3, but Bonk Torch is what I usually like saying.
Bonk torch is how you call it. Okay. So you're going to say it's 3. And, of course, it could be 1. It could be 7. We know that. It can be 8 if you do Tower Room. So, but you're going to go with 3. I'm going to say it's always 11 because, well, always. Normally that is in Rando Room for me, the way that I would route it. But if someone does full right, it could be Stalfo's room as well.
And SuperNinTaylor not quite ready to make Turtle Rock play it. Is this? Ooh, they might be heading. Well, they do have a tablet they can check. Because that might be where.
Yeah, did we? I don't think we've seen Bombos yet, if I'm not mistaken.
We have not. I wonder if they'll also consider Palace just to see if there's anything good in there.
Well, if that's the flute, we might actually have a very interesting finish here for SuperNinTaylor. In the meantime, we are about to get to Ganon's Tower. DevioXS is 1 screen away. And that is the other bow. That is silver arrows.
Definitely on Ganon with those, I don't think it's going to be enough. Devios making a few oopsies along the way.
So notice the animation only shows the 6 crystals, because that's all we needed. We're free to go in. I love that the animation doesn't show that 7th crystal there now. Anyway, if you are watching on YouTube, by the way, you are seeing our live Twitch chat. Obviously, you can't play the game with us. Just pick a number 1 to 22 and play along with us. And good luck to everyone playing. Let's see where that key is. You're going to get on number 1 today, not on number 3. So here comes the torch.
I still hope it's here.
It is a shield.
Well, number 3's still in the game then. Let's go.
Looks like I'm going to get the last chest Rando room for mine today, unless he does a dark magician strat, which would actually put it in the compass room. So there's the bacon blade. There is a compass, which we just kind of a useless item. There is 50 bucks. Hey, you have some money. Good. Go spend it. And that's a key. And he is doing dark magician. I'm not a fan of this strategy. I think if you're going to go back to the right, you go to Rando room first, but that's just my take on it. I either say do all right or go to Rando room and then go right. So Devio is getting up to 7 now. He probably will skip tile room. We had a nice demonstration of this room without the fire rod the other day. If you missed it, I know it's in our Discord clips channel. You can definitely go watch that. That was a really nice demonstration of this room without the fire rod.
I've seen it. It doesn't look fun.
Oh, it's not fun, but it's definitely really well done. So here's 8 to 11. Number 8. That's the big key. We have 8 as the winning number today, and I'm going to see if we can find out as we see if there are any other useful items. We know he won't find silvers. He may look for those, but he won't find them. So checking the top of the channel here, we actually have an 8 very early in the game, and I just lost it. Let me get it back. It looks like the winner of the big key guessing game today is Pantsu General, who guessed number 8 exactly. The first person to do so. There were a couple others, but he was the first one to get it in. Congratulations, Pantsu General. You get a wonderful prize. Xander, tell him what it is.
Round of applause. But not from me. My hands are tired.
There you go. That'll work.
Thanks.
So Devio getting the first room of the locked segment of Ganon's Tower done. We're about to enter the gauntlet. SuperNinTaylor is still looking around Swamp Palace. Hasn't found any flute or anything yet. So if he were to find the flute, he'll probably just go mow the rest of Swamp Palace because he can finish the game at this point. Devio taking the ferry detour, going to get on full health before hopping up to the gauntlet. By the way, you can fall off that platform normally. You can't just jump to the lower platform. You actually have to hook shot back down. So I've done that. It's an easy thing to do. Devio now starting the gauntlet, so named because it's the hardest series of rooms in the game. Look at all these Zyzacs everywhere and these Beamos on conveyor belts. And such a hard series of rooms. As you can see, Devio is having a lot of trouble with it. All these Zyzacs are just everywhere. He's not really showing he's having a lot of trouble with it, is he?
No, make it through pretty quickly. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor, when you check these left side chests, they just feel so out of the way and slow, but not having hookshot makes it so much worse because you have to climb up and around and drop down twice for it.
Absolutely. I guarantee he was here looking for the hookshot. It's in Turtle Rock. He's not going to find it. So he can't finish this. So if you're SuperNinTaylor right now, you have to be feeling a pang of horror knowing that you were not able to finish this. And of course, you don't know where you are in the race. You don't know that DevioXS is in Ganon's Tower as you're doing that. But you have to have that pang of horror when you don't find that and you realize you still can't complete that 6th dungeon that you need to finish the game.
And it looks like they might be doing a Thieves Town now.
Well, there were items left behind. We still don't have Death Mountain access. This is one of the 2 places I said the flute or the lamp could be. And you know what? I think it's got to be here or on Sahasrara.
Did we get all the items in Eastern Palace? Oh, and actually, no, they might be doing Graveyard Ledge first?
They are. He is. Meanwhile, Devio completing the 5th floor torch puzzle. That's going to graduate him to the staircase where he'll get a full magic refill because he's out. And the door closes, so there'll be no despawn here. And the reward for completing the 5th floor torch puzzle is do the 6th floor torch puzzle with falling tiles. And get out of there. And Devio is looking for silver arrows, I believe. He won't find them.
They did get tempered down in the floors below, so at least they won't have to do a Master Sword Silverless game.
Yeah, Temper Sword Silverless, just a little less painful. SuperNinTaylor goes back to the beginning and almost went to delete file by accident, but got back to the game and is in Mountain Cave, is going to get his health top up, and he might be making a Turtle Rock play now. Just a little too late. There's our gold sword.
That's 2 swords in Ganon's Tower. And I will say, just for because I like knowing where everything is, I'm a little sad that SuperNinTaylor, because I want to know which was it, flute or lantern, that gave us Death Mountain access logically, and B, could they have gone into Misery Mire, or did they need either? But we're not going to get to find out.
No, we're not going to get to find out. Now, the question is, if SuperNinTaylor doesn't finish the seed, we might be able to ask him to look for us, but if he does finish the seed, we're never going to know. So we are in the agonometry fight right now, and I didn't see how many hits Devio got in the first couple phases here, but I just saw 1 hit there. He took a zap and got no hits there. Don't hit Agonon with the sword. That will hurt. He does have enough hits. He is going to move on to the Ganon fight. So it is time for the big bat. Back to the story. It is time for the big pig. And that means that we have to go follow this bat to the pyramid. And this bat is a vandal. It's just going to poke a hole at the top of the pyramid, destroy this thing. And it looks a bit like a chicken, doesn't it?
It sure does. Meanwhile, our duck that freed themselves because they got tired of waiting for us gets us there. Somehow warps to the Dark World. Got a moon pearl of their own. All good.
And Ganon complains about the quality of minions nowadays. Must get new minions. So, as DevioXS is in the Ganon fight, SuperNinTaylor is about to find the thing that allowed DevioXS to get here a little quicker. And he realized he was going the wrong way because he doesn't have the hook shot. He can't quick pull himself into the pit. So he's going to now go the long way. Force of habit. We did not find the silver arrows in the light world. SuperNinTaylor did, though. SuperNinTaylor having an oopsie and is going to have to make another trip around, I think. He might not get... Oh, he got...
Oh, they clutched it! Oh, jeez. Okay.
Wow.
Just taking the long way around, you know. Just doing some sightseeing.
Yeah, that was super close. And now SuperNinTaylor at 1 hour, 24 minutes is in go mode, just as DevioXS is on the final phase of Ganon, which means we're probably going to have to finish in about a minute or so. And I guarantee you, SuperNinTaylor, at the moment he opened that hook shot chest, I guarantee you his heart probably sank. You have to feel for him in that situation. And Devios, by the way, did get the torch glitch. What that does is if you get when the first torch goes out, if you light it right away before the second one goes out, that second one will never go out unless you save some magic in the Ganon fight. He's on 1 heart. This could be a little
They got fairies. Right there.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he does have a fairy, yeah. Get another torch spin out. Or torch shot out. And spin. And we have bacon, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get to hear beep beep as we finish here. But DevioXS is going to be the first to cross a very dangerous 1x3 bridge. You think he can manage this bridge? We're going to find out in a moment. And he does get across the bridge safely, and that means he is finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 25 seconds, or sorry, try that again. 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 27 seconds. Done, comment, lol. Which probably could have been used here, to be honest, because that was a really, really weird setup at the end. So SuperNinTaylor at this time is still continuing to play, so we are going to continue to follow him at this time. I don't think we have audio for him because I'm not hearing audio for him right now. So he is looking around, checking.
Gotta get that key.
Getting the key.
As we watch SuperNinTaylor go through Swamp, I believe we can pull Devio here.
Yep. He's with us now, so GG Devio.
Oh, thank you very much.
I forgot to say when we were announcing the result, by the way, Devio does advance now to the next round of the tournament, is going to face a runner who is yet to be determined. We'll talk about that a little later, but let's talk about this seed first. What were your thoughts on tonight's seed?
That was very weird. I feel like there were, like, when I was playing, there were moments of brilliance and moments of just the worst. But like, as far as execution goes and things like that, and it's so weird though. The mini Moldorm cave, like, basically a death there. I saved and quit before I died, technically.
Yeah, we didn't see that. You didn't die. It's okay.
No, I mean, yeah, exactly. No one ever dies there. But I've never seen those Moldorms be that ornery before. I was actually like caught in the corner with nothing to do. I don't think the hammer would have done anything. Yeah, that kind of forced me to go to desert, and I stopped by Agana and pick up the boots. And at that point, I was just like, "Are you kidding me? That's dumb."
That was brilliant. That was one of 2 times the key was on the doorstep today, because we had it with Quake over at Turtle Rock as well. And it turns out, yeah, you're right. That mini Moldorm in the center, he did not want you to use your bombs today. He did not want you to destroy his friends.
It's like, the worst I've seen it. I've played, these seeds like, close to 400 times now, maybe, and it's like, I don't remember it ever being that bad. Usually, like, I can pop the first bomb off and get the one in the center, no problem. And then the others are, just clean up there. But
I want to point out real quick, SuperNinTaylor was like dancing around before finally doing
I think he saw the SRL chat by then, and he knew that the race was decided. He knew he was out of the tournament, so he was just having a little bit of fun doing some dancing around around his opponent there, the Argus, his enemy. He was doing a little bit of dancing around there for
scooping
fun.
the crystal in the bug net too. I love it.
And at this point, he did, by the way, forfeit. Now, I don't know if he's going to join us here. He might still just be bounced around, but he did put a forfeit in the channel around this point, looking at the timer. I can calculate that to be about now. So he's just running around having some fun right now, and we will see if he does want to join us in a moment here. But he may just keep playing. He may very well just keep playing in the meantime. That, I don't know.
But yeah, the whole Turtle Rock thing, like the game number 1 that we played also had a pendant Turtle Rock that turned out to have the keys to the kingdom in there, and it was just like this one. I was actually very close to going into Turtle Rock when I was up on Dark Death Mountain the first time, and I was like, wait a second, no, hold on, I got like at least 2 dungeons I can clear. Let's not go, let's not go do something we'll regret here, right? And then I go over to Eastern to Pod, and for a moment I was thinking Eastern was also a crystal, and so I go into Eastern and I'm like, this is not the right music. So I just pick up the first item and get out of there, and so that's what happened there. I marked that correctly. That was just me making a dumb.
By the way, SuperNinTaylor has also joined us. GG.
GG. Oh, that was rough. That's too bad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had to be a very sinking feeling when you got to Turtle Rock and found the hook shot there, especially after doing the Swamp Palace play. And I've seen it a million times myself. It can be in Swamp Palace. It just didn't turn up there today for you. So I gotta be a sinking feeling there. But other than that, what did you think of the seed itself?
I don't know. I think it sucked.
I kind of agree, honestly. It should not have paid off for me in the way it did. Like I was making like mistakes here and there, and like every mistake that I made put me in a direction that led me to a new item or something. It like.
I mean, I guess I should have checked Turtle Rock. It's why I lost the first race. But like, I just had so many other locations to check still, and I don't know.
I was very close to going in there the first time I went to Death Mountain, but I had like 2 crystal dungeons I could clear. Pod and Ice at the time, and I was like, that would just be dumb. Let's not do that, because it couldn't be as good as clearing those pendants first. But then I end up going back there later and getting the hook shot. And
there's some.
Go ahead.
Didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry. There's something that we noticed though during the race, and we called to this a couple times. We never actually found Death Mountain access.
No lamp, no flute. It's got to be somewhere. I imagine it's in Thieves Town.
It has to be at this point, and the way that the number of items that are left. The odds at this time are very high that the flute was actually in Thieves Town, and the lamp is probably in Misery Mire at this point. That's the only thing I can imagine that makes sense, because we've seen almost everything else.
I did find the access after I forfeit.
So we're probably gonna see it on the stream in a moment here. Then, is what you're saying, right?
No, I turned my stream off and I checked after I heard you guys talking about it. But
I see.
It's lamp in Thieves Town Big Chest.
But we never found the flute.
Well, that's the flute. Flute's probably also in Turtle Rock or something dumb like that.
Sahasrara was the Thieves Town today, so Sahasrara could have potentially had the flute as well. But
that's the only other. I can't remember.
Yeah, the flute was needed for Misery Mire, but at the same time, it could have also, because it was a 6/6, it could have very well been in Ganon's Tower as well. So maybe the flute wasn't actually needed. Maybe you were supposed to ignore Misery Mire today.
Did you check Eastern at all?
Yeah, I was gonna actually mention that. It's like every race I do, every single decision I made was like the wrong decision. So I had a choice between Eastern and Desert, and I was like, I don't have boots, I don't have a fire source. Maybe I'll just check Sahasrara and Eastern first to hope I get those things.
You did make one decision. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You did make one decision that we thought was a really good decision. You checked Magic Bat 5 minutes in and found the King of Samaria.
Yeah,
I really wanted to do that, but I had no magic, so I was like, got to put that in the back pocket and just come back later. Because like the way I routed, I had 0 magic. Maybe like defeating some enemies along the way would have helped, but you know, it's like it's Kakariko. You eventually come back, but
Yeah.
Just a sequence of like wrong decisions. I felt so bad about that race, the whole race. Like going to Eastern instead of Desert. I never checked the dam yet, because I had the book and I was like, I'm just gonna do. I did mini Molder to Ice Rod so I could do like dam to Desert, because I had the book. I was like, I should probably dip that. But
I don't think the dam had anything. So
Dam was Fire Rod.
yeah, I had the
oh,
fire.
was
Yeah,
it?
it was
Oh my
Fire
goodness, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so Dam to Desert was like exactly lined up for you
Yeah.
item-wise.
Yeah,
Is
but I
this the
didn't have
lamp?
Fire Rod yet, so I was like, I'm gonna put it off and hope I can find a fire source in the eastern area.
And now that we know the lamp was in Thieves Town, I think you could have potentially done that as a line as well if you want to get the lamp. But since the Fire Rod was so much more convenient, of course you can use that for Desert Palace. So that was
Desert had the Moon Pearl.
On the right side, that's right.
So it would be unlikely that you'd be like you.
Yeah,
you
that's
had to go
actually
into
true.
Desert.
Yeah, you had to use Fire Rod.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you could have
no.
opted not to pick up the Moon Pearl, or you could have opted not to complete Desert, but that'd be silly at that point.
Yeah. But I agree with SuperNinTaylor. This seed was dumb. I did have a really nice Land Molus 1, which I liked, but I had no sword and like virtually no fire rod shots, but I like somehow just like hammered them all to death, no problem.
Yeah. Then on my way to Eastern, it's like, you know, I could check Agana first, just in case he has the boots, but that's really unlikely, so I'll just do Desert first. And then, of course, his boots locked, so I pop down and check Agana. He has the boots.
And then you turn around and go right back in.
Yeah. And the one pendant dungeon I don't check is Turtle Rock, and that has my go mode, and then it's just like everything just piling up. It was just frustrating for me.
So there's something I want to ask you about, Devio, because we were kind of musing over this certain activity that you were doing in the Palace of Darkness area. You went to Palace of Darkness, you found the first key, you mirrored to the beginning, you went to Eastern Palace, you got the first item, you mirrored to the beginning, you went back to Palace of Darkness. What was going on there?
Okay, so for a moment I was thinking. Well, I mentioned before, but I was thinking that Eastern was a pendant. Why I thought Eastern was a pendant, or a crystal? Excuse me. Why I thought Eastern was a crystal? See, I can't get it right now. But yeah, I thought Eastern was a crystal. I don't know why, because I have it marked down correctly. And I was like, oh no, I want to clear out Eastern before pod so I can get a refill. And then I was like, this music is incorrect in Eastern. I've made a critical error. Let's mirror out of here and get back to. This was after I went into pod, and I was like, no, wait a second. But you know, mistakes were made.
Got a bottled fairy out of it, though. I mean, it's not too bad.
The extra fairy was helpful, but I also was going into Ganon's tower, silverless with Master Sword, no magic in a bottle, and no lamp. And so I was like, and I had no money to buy potions. So I was like, better get it right the first time.
We did find silvers, though.
Yeah, I saw that on the restream.
Yeah, they were on the the Bombos tablet. That's right.
Yeah, I was like, I went into Turtle Rock having skipped that location. I was like, I probably should have checked that first, but if I'm gonna do that, then I'm probably going to the swamp as well. So
yeah, that's usually when you get the Bombos tablet check-in. That's like the way I would normally expect to see that routed. And again, some people will do it differently, but the way I normally expect to see that routed is go check Bombos, then go in the swamp. Because if you're going with items on the Bombos, you can skip everything in the swamp. So that's just how I would normally expect to see it. And yeah, I'm not surprised that you did skip that. I'm not surprised at all.
yeah, at that point, it was just like, it's a numbers game. I thought about like, okay, mirror was the last big item that I picked up. Probably something is in mirror locked location that would have progression. And then I thought, wait a second, Quake was actually mirror locked. So all of TR is. So I was like, well, that makes sense enough to me. And there's more items there than the other places. So
we should probably get wrapped up because don't think there's another race coming up on this channel, at least in this tournament, but we should probably get wrapped up and get off the channel in a moment here. So we do have to go into the sad news now. SuperNinTaylor, this is obviously going to be your last race of the tournament. Any last thoughts as you do exit the tournament?
No, GG's, I guess. Maybe I'll play in the next one. We'll see.
Thanks. Yeah, hopefully things go a little better for you next time. I watched those other runs, and it is pretty wild, the luck SNT had. So
yeah, that's me every race of every tournament since I started. So that's I don't know. I might just stop altogether. I don't know. Maybe I'll play again next year.
Well, we'd love to have you back next year.
Yeah.
I know. You heard me say on the stream, you are an accomplished runner, and it would be sad not to have you at least taking part next year. So, hopefully, we still get to see you play.
Yeah, we'll see. I have been learning other games as well, so I'm enjoying those ones.
Understandable. That's perfectly fine as well. If you don't mind me asking, what other games are you picking up right now?
Final Fantasy 1 Rando and the Final Fantasy 4. What is it called? Free
Enterprise.
I'm just learning it now, so I'm like completely new to that one, but I've been enjoying it. I just finished my blind run yesterday.
Yeah, those are really, really good. I suggest to other people check those out. They're really good randomizers.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer in particular, actually, I know I did see it. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but I believe there is a tournament coming to Speed Gaming. We'll talk about that more once that actually is announced, if it isn't already. But I know they have weekly races on Speed Gaming as well. And in fact, I think there's one going on tonight on another channel, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm involved with that community as well. I guess I'll see you around there as well, SuperNinTaylor. So good to pick up another randomizer. I know Zelda 1 Rando is a nice one as well, which I also commentate. Lots of great randos out there. And definitely anyone watching, pick up any of those because it's a lot of fun playing something like one of these things. Especially if you're good at it and you can try to find the way to solve puzzles and finish the game as quickly as possible, like these runners do. A lot of fun.
I think what I like about it is that I am new to it. It's kind of like refreshing, learning something new. You don't have any expectations, so I don't know. I've been enjoying that part of it.
That is indeed part of it too. Yes, yeah. I mean, this is a game that's almost 30 years old and people are still playing it, so that tells you something about the longevity of the game. So with that said, yeah, we should probably get ahead and wrap up. But I want to give you one last question, Devio, before we do go, because this one is directed at you. Tedo and Scary Olive are currently fighting to determine who's going to face you. Whoever loses that matchup has to face you for the second spot to advance to the brackets. Who's the scarier opponent?
I really couldn't say. Like our group is pretty stacked. I would say maybe if I had to choose, it'd be interesting to play against Tito because then I would have played against everyone in the group. But so there's that. I could play some more matches against Scary Olive. That would be fun too. So.
Well, it might lead towards Tato. He's Scary Olive is leading 1-0 here, so you might get your chance to play Tato. Very, let's say about 2 chances right now that you have for him to come down and join you right now. So this would be obviously for the last spot. Whoever it is you end up facing, both good runners. Obviously, wish you the best of luck with that, and thank you both for racing tonight. Good race, GG.
Thanks, GG.
And with that said, I just want to remind you again, we'll get the runner links in chat, but make sure you do follow these runners. They both, they're the stars of the show. They put on the race for you today. They definitely deserve your support, and I'm sure they'd love to have you hanging out at their streams. Make sure you follow Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well as ALTTP Randomizer, ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5. Speaking of which, we do have a schedule of races I'm going to cover very, very briefly here. You can go to speedgaming.org/ALTTPR for the entire list of races. Coming up later tonight, we have Ganon's Gone Wild versus Kappa on Speed Gaming 2. And then moving on to tomorrow, and that's, by the way, is at 11:20 p.m., so that's in about an hour from now. Then starting off the day tomorrow, I see there's a race assigned to... Actually, I don't know if the Speed Gaming races have been assigned yet. I'm just going to refresh the page and verify that before I say for sure. But I see a race assigned to ALTTP Randomizer at 9:20 tomorrow. That one is going to be set to go on that channel. That one is between Sir Linkalot 777 and Pika Pals, and it does not look like all the Speed Gaming races are assigned yet. So keep an eye on that schedule. Some races to keep an eye on there are Scary All versus Tito is actually one of those that's going on tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 p.m. So we may have a opponent tomorrow for. Excuse me. We may have an opponent tomorrow in this bracket for Stevio rather to play against. This could be determined tomorrow, so keep an eye on that matchup. Other matchups are I'm Hublis versus Raylan Tanker, F. Coughlin versus Death King 2, Compiling versus Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. We don't know what's going to be broadcast yet. Keep an eye on there to find out. Any last
Actually, I was going to say one more that actually got added to the schedule tonight. If you're ready to go into another rando in about 5 minutes on the Link to the Past Randomizer's first channel, Kermit versus Willard J. Bradley. It is their race 1. So it'll be the beginning to see how their little match off goes. So just the standard rules. So it was really nice to see that we got volunteers sign up to get that one on the schedule. Always great to get more races in for your guys' entertainment. So that's starting up really soon here. So you can just, this one ended, get another one going.
Agreed. Pop over there. Sorry, I think you're cutting off on my end, so I was sorry about that.
You're fine. Go ahead.
That is BBB Kermit versus. Actually, let me bring it back up because I lost it now too. BBB Kermit versus Will J. Bradley. That's right. We have JP who raced last night. I called his race last night, and NY Rambler. They're going to be commenting over there on ALTTP Randomizer. So definitely go and check that out. And thanks to our restream volunteer over there as well. Cynic is restreaming that for us. So give him a little bit of a thank you later on that side as well. But for over here, right now, we're done over here. And any last thoughts from, by the way, make sure you follow our tracker, I should throw it as well. Don't want to forget that because I forgot that last night. Make sure you follow our tracker who was Oro tonight. He is the person who clicked the buttons, did a good job. Thank you for the help, Oro. Make sure you follow my co-commentator, Xander Robotnik as well. Any last thoughts before we wrap up?
At this point, same thoughts as well. Be sure to follow Cyclone. It was an amazing comment. All in the chat, keeping the energy high, keeping the excitement going, keeping us honest as we make our little trips. You guys are part of what makes, these races so amazing to be a part of from all angles. So thank you so much. Hope you all enjoyed. But yeah, that's going to be it for us tonight.
Yep,
be sure to check that 1020 race starting off here pretty soon.
Yep. See some of you over at ALTTP Randomizer. And thank you for Scary Oliver for posting the link in the chat. I believe that is the correct link. I will check that and repost if it is incorrect. But other than that, thank you everyone for watching. If it wasn't for you, we'd just be talking to ourselves, which is what we're kind of doing anyway. So thank you for watching. Have a great night. May not all your seeds be ped seeds. Xander, last word is yours.
I just got one word. Bye.